indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Approval of the agenda, I will need a motion for that. All right, John, second. All right, any discussion on that? If not, those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. Okay. So 4.0 is going to be the annual reorganization. That starts with the election of officers here. Wondering, we can decide how we want to do this, if we want to go through the whole process for every office, or if those of us who are office holders and those of us who aren't would agree that we maybe just want to keep our same offices. Now, I know Deb's not here, so she can't vote on that.
I have no objections to that.
No, I'm happy you guys all consider
And if-
She was the vice chair?
Yeah, and we don't really need a vice chair either, so if she wouldn't be able to do it, we'd be okay, because it's not necessary to have that. So, I guess if that's the case, we're pretty much elected by acclamation. So, I would remain chair and Deb would remain vice chair if she's willing to do that. Clerk is you, Carmel.
Yep.
And Scott, you're treasurer. So I guess we have to vote on that, huh? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. I suppose
That's fine.
we'll go back to it. So you're gonna make the motion there, Scott? And I'll second then. I'll second that. Okay. All right, let's keep going all the way here. Appointment of committees would be 4.2. Get a motion for committee appointments there. I'll make the motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, I can second.
Okay, John, okay, so,
The one thing I'll add is that
go ahead.
my LCTN board will be coming to Southwest.
Right, and we had a little discussion about that before, wondering what they're gonna call themselves, and apparently,
We don't have a name.
They don't
so right
have
now
a-
Let's just call it telecom.
yeah, we're gonna call it telecom board right now. So, and, yeah, telecom board. That's on the next page, okay, so, Deb was on community ed, Carnell, you were on continuing ed as well. Mark, you were on the district advisory committee. I was on facilities, health and safety with Carmel, and we were also on finance and negotiations. John, you were on the technologies for the telecom. Deb was on the legislative liaison. I was on transportation, and John, you were on meet and confer. How did everybody feel about the positions?
Who was
these
on
boards?
finance negotiations again? I'm sorry.
Finance and negotiations with myself and Carmel,
Okay,
and
thank
they're
you.
also on the facilities, health and safety. And John, you were the last one on meet and confer. So, does anyone want to change positions?
I'm not on one.
You're not on one?
I don't
Which would you like to be on?
We can leave it the same.
Question on that.
Yeah.
I think I'm the, state high school lead.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And
Should we
that's
add that at this time, or that's a
That
separate
has to be
time?
done always in the summer.
okay, okay.
Have you had to do anything for that?
I think I have to sign the.
Yeah, you have some paperwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be willing to, if there's more work out there or workload, like I'd be willing to, like the district advisory committee, we didn't meet at all.
Okay.
So I mean, I haven't really done any like additional committee responsibilities. So if anybody's looking to offload anything, that's not terribly overwhelming. I'd be,
Well, if you're willing to join negotiations. you can
Yes,
do
I think that, yes, I think
Yeah.
that'd be a good suggestion.
okay.
Just, to.
So there's a third person on that, yeah. Now, you meet what, couple times a year for the telecom, if that's what you've been
3
doing?
times.
3 times, is that gonna stay the same, don't know?
I have not heard. I know that
Okay.
they sent out the final,
Draft of what's going on,
yeah, and I think Pete's position has officially ended at.
okay.
Yeah.
And we were doing those by Zoom, are we still gonna do that?
So we did not have our last scheduled meeting,
Okay,
so I have not heard, but the last two have.
I had been prior to that, okay, okay.
I can take your transportation from you, Julie.
Oh, that'd be great, that'd be great, on there.
You know, we could do health and safety. Mark could be on that, cause he knows all about all the Narcan stuff too,
Ooh,
'cause
that's
that's
a good
gonna be
idea.
coming too.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and I'm not opposed to either of them, I think they both sound like good ideas.
Yeah.
And we could just split the facilities and health and safety again, cause they were always split before, I think we just threw them together that one year, cause you guys were both on both of them.
Yeah, that's right, if they could be split, that's true.
Yeah.
I could stay on the facilities, I don't have a problem with that. And Mark, if you would take the health and safety, that would
Sure.
be a nice
Okay.
addition there.
So then I would stay on facilities with you,
Yeah, that'd be fine.
and is John on it?
Yeah. Will you?
I've been meeting with all the.
Yep.
POC
So
stuff.
we maybe should.
Yeah, oh, yeah, you should stay on you should stay on the facilities, won't you? Cause I can't always make those facilities meetings, so you're nearby, that would help, okay. So then we would have, Deb Brandt on community education along with Carmel.
No, those, there's our two separate.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, oh, one is community, I'm sorry, I thought they were the same thing. Community education is Deb Brandt, continuing education is you, Carmel.
And I don't think we've done anything this year anyway.
I think they have, I think they didn't let you know. Because they've been here after school some days working on it.
Okay. Well, okay.
I have to send an email, I guess.
We'll have to remind them.
Alrighty. And then district advisory committee, that'll still be you, Mark?
Yeah, that's fine,
Okay, and also then we'll move you to the health and safety as well.
sure.
And facilities will be me and Carmel and John. Finance negotiations will be Carmel, myself, and Mark. And then the technology telecom board will be John. The legislative liaison will remain Deb, if she's willing to do that. Transportation is gonna be Scott, and then a meet and confer will be John. All right, any other discussion on that? Not, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. Okay. 4.3 is board compensation rates. Did I get a motion on that?
I'll make the motion to keep them the same.
All right, Carmel, second.
I'll second it.
Was you, Mark?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to change the federal mileage rate. I was
That's what
gonna
it
say.
is.
And that's what the,
That's what
That's the new one right
Yep.
there, okay. All right, there's no more discussion on that. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, and then we've got 4.4 official designations. Need a motion in that?
I'd like to make that motion.
Mark, okay, second.
Second.
Scott. And that's the depositories are gonna be Citizens Alliance Bank. Meeting dates will be the second Monday of every month in the McRae Boardroom. The meeting time will be 6 p.m. The official newspapers, Clare City Herald. The notification methods are website and our legal counsel is Kennedy and Graven. And I would like to add under the meeting times, if we could just right now decide that if we have to miss a meeting because of weather, it'll just be the next day sometime. Then we can avoid the 3-day notification.
Oh,
Period
okay.
that we have to
I
do.
thought about that today, actually.
Yeah, yeah, so I mean, if we have it written as part of, we won't have to do it again.
Sure.
So that's my addition to that. Anybody have anything else there? All right, if not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, those opposed, nay. Right with you, Kim? Is that all right? All right. Signature authorizations. All right, I need a motion. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, John. And these all will remain the same then. We have electronic fund transfers would be Kim Sandry, Tim Beesman, Nicole Cray Niemeyer, and myself as chair and Scott as treasurer. And all the other accounts will be Kim Sandry, Tim Beesman, and Nicole Cray Niemeyer. All right, any discussion on that? No changes? Okay, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Easy.
All right, 4.6, safekeeping investment securities. I'm gonna need a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Scott,
I'll second.
Marmel. All right. This authorizes a business manager to make investments in federally insured and secured accounts, which will yield the greatest interest rates, and approve United Bankers Bank as safekeeper of Citizens Alliance Bank's pledged collaterals required by Minnesota Statute 118.8.03. So any other discussion on that? Well, those in favor say aye. Aye, those opposed, nay. Okay, I guess we're up to public comment, and we have none, right? Right. No, we're up to 6.0. Approval of the consent agenda, need a motion.
I'll make motion to approve the consent agenda.
Let's do that. Second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion there? We've got to approve coaches and advisors, Elsie Summer, looks like junior high girls basketball. Well, no, that'd be baseball. Basketball, okay, Erin Butenhoff is a junior high girls basketball, and Laura Bristol is a swim. Okay, as well as pay my bills and resignation.
Those are both basketball.
27, 28.
Oh, so they need that. All right, any other discussion here? Not, those in favor say aye.
Right?
Opposed, nay. Communications reports, we'll welcome Shelby McQuaid.
Thank you. I am going to pass out these two reports. So you have two because you are issuing two different types of financing, a general obligation bond and a COP. And I brought with me today Beth Downs. She started with Ellers in September and passed her test to be certified last month. And so she will be the presenter of the pre-sale reports for both issues.
Yeah, well, I figured, since I got to work with Josh and Corey, it's less daunting to come here and present, because he's heard me talk. So it's fun. Yeah, and then Carmel as well, we figured out, we have that connection with John Tyne as well. I got to work with him and Corey too, so it's nice to come here and have a little familiarity to start off. So we're gonna start with the 2024A report in front of you, it's kind of noted in the middle. So, this is our pre-sale summary. So essentially, we're just gonna go over some information tonight about, what we're expecting for our bond sale next month. So our proposed issue is about 2.7 million, and this is your rated funding. So I'm taking a look at page 1. So this is the issuance where we're doing, a portion is coming from your facilities maintenance, a portion from operating capital, and then a portion of tax abatement bonds. So we're rating our funding for this one. And something to note when we look at this one is that your facilities maintenance and the capital facilities portions are not going to be any kind of tax impact for your taxpayers. We're taking funds that you already get from the state every year and borrowing against them essentially. And then the tax abatement portion is for your parking lots portion of your project. So this is the first couple of pages here is kind of a summary of what the bond kind of looks like, the legal provisions that are here, the fact that we will do a competitive sale for you. So Ellers will facilitate the sale on February 7th and sell these bonds for you. And then we're anticipating a closing date of March 7th. So that's about the time we'll expect your funds will actually be on hand for your project. There's a lot of information in this packet, so we're just going to touch kind of briefly on everything. There's a lot of good info in here. So on page 7 is our breakdown on the sources and uses of funds. So for page 7, the first column there is your issued debt already. So you had some remaining authority from your 2019 voter referendum that you did, and you issued the rest of that authority in 2022, and then you also have some other funds on hand. Then we're going to add to that your 2024A issue. So a portion of the facilities maintenance bonds, portion is capital facilities bonds, portion tax abatement bonds. Then the other item is your 2024 B issue. So those are your certificates of participation. Those are the ones that are coming through the lease levy for the turf portion of the project. So on your total column, there's something to note. The last, if you go from the bottom, the third row from the bottom there in bold is that net available for project costs. So we're anticipating right now about 6.4 million roughly available for projects. So something important that we think about as we actually sell the bonds next month is the reoffering premium that you can get from your underwriter. So when those underwriters go to sell those bonds, sometimes they will offer a premium on them, and it's all based on your interest rates and how the interest rates are there versus what's going to happen to them in the future. And so generally you get a little bit more money that way. So depending on how that reoffering premium comes out, you could at that point decide maybe to issue less in bonds, or you can take a look at that general fund contribution in that point, and maybe you want to ease up on that general fund portion and just have a little bit less contribution there. So something to kind of think about, and something we'll work through with Kim and Josh as we sell those bonds next month. And then I am going to have you jump to page 12. So page 12 is that portion of the bond that's going to be funded through your long-term facilities maintenance program. Like I said, you get long-term facilities maintenance revenue every year. You can, there's a couple ways when you look at those projects where you do is pay as you go and you just kind of use the money as you come work on projects, or you can borrow against it like you're doing here. Do a bigger project right now, use that revenue as it comes in to then pay off those debt payments for you. So there in the upper right corner, there's a little box, it's 15 years of levies, 30% of LTFM revenue. So what that means is you're taking about 30% of that annual appropriation every year to make the debt payments, and then that other 63% is going to be available to you to keep doing those projects as you need them. So you keep doing pay as you go. Other nice part about this is that you get a little bit more money each year as your buildings age. So if you look at that very right column, that general fund revenue remaining, you can see in 2025, we're looking at maybe 125,000 left. By the time you get out, 15 years, you're looking at 188,000 left for general fund. So that number is going to continue to fluctuate and to grow as we move through these debt payments. Any questions on any of that as I'm going through? Okay. The next page we'll jump to is page 14. And this one looks very similar to what we just looked at, except this is your operating capital. So this is called a capital facilities bond. So in this case, you're borrowing against your operating capital revenue that you get every year. Really similar premise to the long-term facilities maintenance part. We get revenue every year for it, and we're going to bond against it and use the aid as it comes in to make those payments. So again, using about 36%, so you still have a really good chunk of operating capital every year that you can keep using for your building needs. A very nice part of using your financing this way and bonding against it is that you get that school ag credit. So for your agricultural properties, they get a nice 70% tax credit. So if you do it every year as you go, they pay 100% of that. If you bond against it, now your ag properties are only paying 30%. So actually a really nice benefit for those taxpayers. And then we'll jump to page 15. So this one is also including that COP, or certificate of participation. So again, that's that lease levy portion. And that column is kind of right in the middle of the page there. You can see proposed COP, about 166,000 a year. So your debt payment on this portion, we figure, is probably going to be closer to about 181,000 a year, but we're only going to levy for 166. So the remaining portion of that is being funded through general fund. So just normal operations. Do you have anything to add to that one?
And that has to do with reaching the cap at $212 per pupil generates 166,000. So as your pupils, if your pupils grow to meet $180,000, you could fulfill the entire payment from a levy. So it's great, but knowing going into this that we might have to take a mix.
Thank you.
Yep.
And then the last page is our graph, which I really like because I think it's a nice, much easier way to see visually what's going on here. So on the scrap, your diagonal lines are our existing debt that we already have. That pinky purple color is that lease levy that we just talked about, and then the teal is those, tax abatement bond portion. So you can see your tax abatement bond is only for about 10 years, and your lease levy is that 15. And I think this is really great to show that that facilities maintenance and capital facilities part is not a tax impact for your property owners at all. It's just very small amounts for that tax abatement and for your lease levy portions. So tonight, we don't have any actions that we need to take on anything. You guys did a lot of work already in September for getting your lease levy all taken care of. So when we come back in February, that is when we will do the award for the bonds. Kim and Josh have a lot of work to do in between there.
That'll be at a regular board meeting, right? Yeah,
Right,
regular-
Yeah, February 7th is a regular. Oh, 12th, I'm sorry. 7th, March 7th. Thank you. It's close.
I have no other questions.
All going as planned.
Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome. We'll be in touch as
All right.
next steps. Good. Okay, and at MSBA,
There are a couple of them down there.
all right, we'll see you there. We'll bring back cookies for the rest of them.
Yeah. Always.
Oh.
I see that.
Yeah.
Early. Once you brought it on, you have to get-
Oh, I felt safe.
I'll put one aside for
Okay,
now.
thank you.
Yeah, I'll make sure.
Okay. 7.0, we're up to communications reports, that was Shelby, and that, okay. Jim Trulock activities, but he's not here, I'll just kind of skim what he's got here. The BPA regional competition is gonna be held in Marshall this year on the 19th of January. It's gonna be 36 students participating there. One act boys gonna have a public performance in the auditorium on the 24th of January at 5:15. It lasts about 30 minutes. They will compete in Dawson on the 27th. The directors are Jen Wassenaar and Chris Gilmore. Section dance takes place in Montevideo on February 10th. And let's see, junior high boys basketball completed their season before Christmas break. And girls basketball started practice already on the 2nd. We've approved the hiring of the junior high girls basketball coaches Aaron Beatonhoff and Elsie Sumner, and Laura Brisley as our spring advisor. Knowledgeable team practices have been taking place. We have 5 high school students, 2 junior high school students participating, and the first competition's on the 20th of January. All right, Mitchell Kent, elementary principal, he's also not here. I'm gonna summarize his. The holiday concert was a successful event with high attendance. He shouts out a big thank you to Mrs. Mankenberg. And the spring concert for the elementary takes place on Tuesday, May 7th. Under auditorium usage, he's thanking Jesse, Joel, and Denise. Elementary students have used the auditorium at a high rate, and it is great to see family and community involvement. Upcoming events, DARE with Deputy Sean Joyce begins for the 5th grade on Wednesday, January 10th. Vaping health education for 5th graders is on this Friday, January 12th. Snow Week, also week of January 15th through the 19th. End of second quarter is January 25th, and there's a staff in service on January 26th. All right, Jill. That is not here. Let's see what Jill's got to say. He said we are all settling back into a routine after the winter break, winter homecoming or snow week, scheduled for the 16th through the 19th. And due to a scheduling conflict, they're modifying the coronation to be an 8:30 a.m. ceremony on the 16th. With 6 through 12 in attendance. It says 9 through 12 parents are notified by a letter sent by Infinite Campus. Family and community members are invited. And we're looking to infuse some energy into the week of festivities, so. January marks the beginning of the period where we plan for upcoming school year. We've already started the process for next year's course offerings, and preliminary scheduling for students will take place during the spring parent-teacher conferences. Utilizing the discipline matrix that was approved as part of the student handbook in late summer has provided guidance for students as well as for families, so they want insight on what steps may be taken. And he said the addition of this document has been useful and provided clarity. He wants to thank the Chippewa, Candy, Ojai, Rainville, and Swift counties for the support they show in helping us meet our varied needs of our students. Again, he's got Snow Week, January 16th through the 19th. The district spelling bee is at 2 p.m. on the 16th. The 26th, there's a staff workshop and planning day for September 2, and on the 31st, there's going to be an NH. That's Jen Wheatley's report. And Josh, you're gonna redo them.
I'm gonna echo many of the things that Jim and Mitchell and Judd already shared. We did have a very successful holiday season. Looking at the elementary school, they were not only able to have an evening performance for their holiday concert, but they also had a matinee that was very well attended. Again, it was great to see the use of the auditorium, microphones working very well, people able to hear, the song and the sharing and things like that. Makes those events just that much more memorable. Very good attendance for those holiday season events. Also, we had middle school and high school concerts, both band and choir concerts during that time in December, and many social events too with our staff and students leading up to break. The McCray Athletic Complex Improvement Project, we did meet again just within this last week or so, and the project right now is currently out for bid. Those sealed bids need to be returned to the school by January the 16th at 2 p.m. and that's when those will be open. Tentatively, if things go well, construction is scheduled to begin actually on March the 25th. And the people from ICS have actually shown us a calendar of actually like when they would actually be sowing the turf and when would they be putting in the high jump and when would they, or the triple jump and the different runways. So they've got it all broken down into days and even how many days they anticipate it taking to put in a goalpost. I think 3 days is how long they have it scheduled. So they have it very detailed and broken down. Just like there was new legislative changes before the school year started, there were also some new legislative things that for January 1st that as schools we had to abide by. The earned safe and sick time was one. The access to menstrual products was another. Job applicant information. We cannot ask what previous compensations were from people that we may be employing or that we wish to employ. The unique thing about that is that for a public school salaries are public information. And so therefore, even if you can't ask the question of them, we still have the ability to be able to go find that if that's something that we would like to have. And then also there's some benefits and services that we have to make aware to our veterans and our family members. Those are the four that really the schools need to abide by. One of the last school board meetings, we discussed my goals for the year, and one of them was looking at strategic planning. I have had some preliminary conversation with Amy Jordan from the Minnesota School Board Association, and she has given me some resources that I can begin to look at and begin to kind of plan for, and I'll give you all a heads up on what I'm finding. Negotiations is very active with all of our staff right now. Everybody's contract still is in negotiation across all of our different labor groups. The dialogue has been open. It's been professional. Wish it was quicker, but that's part of the process. We have very good people at McCray, staff, and also the people that are on the negotiations team, and I think it will continue to go forward in a positive manner. Today is January the 8th. Last year, this day was put on our calendars to be used as the first snow day. So it's kind of ironic that we didn't have to use it as a snow day, but this was the first day that we really got snow. So the irony of that. January 25th, believe it or not, is the end of second quarter. We're halfway through the academic school year, which is just surprising. As Judd and Mitchell commented on, we're preparing for next year, looking at staffing needs. Are there people that are retiring? We do have more students that attend McCray currently than we did last year. Does that mean we need additional staff? What does that look like? So that we're prepared. This is a good time to do that, to get ahead of other school districts. You don't want to say you're competitive, but we're competitive and we want to have the best possible staff that we can. Today, I met with a gentleman, his name is Rich Ragatz, and he is from Ideal Energies. He's a salesperson, but he's looking at putting solar power on schools and other businesses and things like that. There are a couple of schools in the area, Lakeview, New London, Spicer, and Tracy, are right now either have worked with him or are working with him to put solar panels. It would be on their roofs. Looking at the size of our roofs, we could possibly, over 40 years, save close between $4 and $5 million in energy. I do have some handouts that I'll leave with any of you that may want to see that. Again, this person was just bringing information to me into the district. There's no contract, and it's just more an FYI. And then, as mentioned, MSBA is having a leadership conference. If any of you still wish to attend and haven't registered, Kim can do some magic and still get you registered. If not, that is completely fine. But that is my report.
Okay, thank you. John, you wanna just fill us up a little bit on the, PLC
Yeah.
committee on the field information or details you can say?
Yeah, so we had our PLC meeting on the 4th of January, and we're really down to small items, small changes. We addressed some font issues. We're trying to make everything similar and cohesive. We want the end zones to be the same lettering that we'll be using going forward. We talked about some bordering and size of bordering, color of bordering to make our logo pop on the field. Baseball anchors, opening up some competition for bidding based on parking lot lights and what we currently have and what other companies may want to submit. And then also we talked about some irrigation options and possible reuse of some of that components we made. And then again, what Josh said, we opened those bids on the 16th of January.
Right. And then I was, just gonna mention something about negotiations, but you already said that we still haven't wrapped those up, so we'll be looking to schedule some more meetings for that. Okay, 8.0, business items. Need a motion to approve the resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reduction in programs and positions and the reasons therefore. Motion for that.
Yes.
That's here.
Huh?
If they just relocked, when did they relock?
Right. Again, the timing.
Oh, we gotta be on the timer at some point, I just don't know when. Should we wait or should I?
Go ahead and make a motion if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll make
That
that motion.
motion, all right.
I'll second.
Where is the resolution?
That's it, that's just the,
Do we have to
Oh,
do,
okay, gotcha.
we have to do a voice vote on that because it's a resolution?
Yeah.
I thought it was like
That's
No.
every year that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
To give them the authority to do that.
if we don't do this, then we can't
Okay.
Alright.
reduce staffing.
Okay.
So you
Oh,
read it.
um,
Read it.
There's nothing much to read there.
yeah.
I know, who was a creepy
So I'll just say the resolution directing administration to make recommendations for reductions in programs and positions and the reasons therefore. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So really no discussion on that. It's a yearly requirement to do it. And they can make those changes. So I guess I have to go around the table. I'll start with myself this time. I'm a yes. You, John?
Yes.
Carmel?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
All right, so that's, I passed it off, all right. 8.2, need a motion to approve the first and final reading of policy 533 wellness. So, motion by, I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Scott? Any discussion on that? Questions?
I was reading through it, and basically the only changes were the corrected policies changed, like if they were referencing, but
Yeah.
that whole wording never changed.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that seemed different.
Yeah, just the one little.
And this has been working for us in the past.
Yeah, in short, is a public school cannot offer, food and beverages during the day that is going to compete against the school lunch program. Just in nutrition and size and things of that nature.
All right, those in favor of approving the first and final reading of policy 533 for wellness, say aye. Aye. Was opposed, nay, okay. Okay. Excuse me, meetings and workshops, our next regular board meetings February 12th, and then March 11th and April 8th. So, motion to adjourn?
We wanna make sure Debbie's okay.
Oh,
with
I'm
the
sorry.
Committee thing.
Oh my gosh, I figured this is gonna be a long meeting. 30 cars deep, that's right. Here's what we did.
You really ran through it.
I ran through it.
You have a few extra responsibilities.
Committees or you?
You're on the same committees you were last time, unless you wanna change that.
No, I emailed Kim, I was good with that.
Oh, you're good
Yeah.
with that, okay. And then, you're also still the board chair if you want it, I mean, the vice chair if you want it.
Oh, sure.
That's kind of what we all kind of
That's
ended
fine.
up with the same ones, and I said, since you weren't here, we don't need a vice chair. So if you didn't wanna do it, that was okay, sure, but if you wanna
Good.
keep it, you're good, okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. That's what we did. All right, anything else you missed, that, other than, you got all the stuff in the packet?
Yeah, yeah,
Board
yeah,
reports?
yeah, there was.
And then Shelby and Beth presented the bond information, and they'll be coming back in February, after their select, right? So we can approve that.
Yep.
And that'll be at our February board meeting. Yeah, so I guess that was it. And then the compensation stayed the same. And the only other change we did was on the, we have to note our meeting time for the meetings. We decided to add that if anything's ever canceled, the meeting's ever canceled, that we'll just automatically hold it the next day at the same time, so we can avoid the 3-day, period of, where we have to let, it's the notice, there we go, thank you.
Cancel closure or whatever.
Yeah, you automatically know it's the next day at the same time. Okay, so now we'll go back to adjournment. Need a motion. You did that, right, John, second?
Second.
Carmel, gotcha, all right. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. All right, that motion. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.